So yesterday we completed external sector, BOP, current account, capital account, convertibility, FERA, FEMA, NEER, REER, fixed exchange rate system, floating exchange rate system, managed floating exchange rate system. Remember, toward the end we covered probably aspects related to international trade, open economy, closed economy, glass door economy. How do we classify current account, capital account, Tarapur committee, convertibility of rupee, NEER, REER, fixed exchange, floating exchange, managed floating, appreciation, devaluation. Probably every year 2-3 questions would come from BOP concept. So just extension to yesterday, what all we covered. One of the repeated themes in the prelims is again foreign trade agreements. In foreign trade agreements, 2 words are there which are important for the exam: positive list, negative list. So what is positive list? What is negative list? In any trade agreement, the goods which are covered as part of trade agreement is called as positive list, which means if India signs any trade agreement with any country, suppose India and Sri Lanka sign some trade agreement, the goods and services which are covered as part of trade agreement is called as positive list. But to protect our domestic market, certain goods are exempted from trade agreement. We also exempt certain goods. Foreign countries also exempt certain goods. Goods which are exempted from the trade agreement is called as negative list, which means we don't want to keep certain goods as part of trade agreement. Foreign country do not want to keep certain goods as part of trade agreement because we want to protect our domestic market, we want to protect our domestic manufacturers, we want to protect our domestic economic activity. So important point in foreign trade agreements, goods which are covered as part of trade agreement are called as positive list. Suppose India recently signed free trade agreement with European Union. The goods which are freely permitted between India and Europe, when those goods come to us, we will not collect any duty. When our goods goes to their country, they will not collect any duty. They are called as positive list. But certain goods are not part of trade agreement, they are called as negative list. Now they are classified as preferential trade agreement, free trade agreement, comprehensive economic cooperation agreement, comprehensive economic partnership agreement, customs union, economic union. So this is the integration levels of free trade agreements. When we say integration levels, as the trade agreement keeps on moving from one to the highest, integration keeps on increasing. Now we need to understand, while signing this free trade agreement, 3 basic principles of WTO has to be followed. Most favored nation, national treatment, reciprocity. Important for prelims. This is previous year question actually. Now what are the 3 important principles of WTO which supposed to be followed while signing free trade agreements? First is most favored nation. Now what is meaning of most favored nation? Irrespective of your political relationship, irrespective of your bilateral, multilateral relationship, in the international trade, every country should be treated equally. Every country should be treated equally, irrespective of your political relations while doing the trade. See, India, Pakistan politically may not like each other. And what does most favored nation principle says? How a country treat goods from its favorite friendly nation, similar unconditional treatment should be given for others also. Which means how you treat your friend, you should treat in the same way other countries also in the international trade. That is called as most favored nation. If goods are coming from Russia to India, how India treats, same treatment should be given for the goods which are coming from China to India. That is the principle of most favored nation. However, for this most favored nation, there is exemption. What is the exemption, sir? To protect our domestic market and to ensure that some foreign countries should not misuse the resources which are available, most favored nation can be cancelled in some circumstances. If that country violates international agreements, if any country violates security agreements, then you can cancel MFN status. India has been giving MFN status to Pakistan, but India cancelled MFN status to Pakistan after Uri terrorist attack. So after Uri terrorist attack, openly India condemned and told, look, you have violated security agreements. So for Pakistan, we cancel MFN status. What does it mean? If goods come from Pakistan to India, India will not provide equal treatment status. That is the meaning of it. So now we understood what is the meaning of most favored nation. National treatment. Clarity is important for prelims. See, at the time of entry at international border, equal treatment of all the countries is called as most favored nation. However, national treatment is after goods enter into our territory, inside our territory, there should not be discrimination between foreign goods and local goods. So which means let's say Chinese goods entered into our market. So once at customs point, custom duty is paid, when Chinese goods are being transported, there should not be discrimination between Indian goods and foreign goods. You treat foreign goods also like you treat your national goods. That is called as national treatment. Difference is at the entry of the international border, equal treatment for all, most favored nation. After the entry within our territory, there should not be discrimination between foreign goods and local goods. That is called as national treatment. Reciprocity. See, reciprocity means you give some favor to me, I'll give some favor to you. You reduce duty on our goods, I will reduce duty on your goods. That is called as reciprocity principle. So three principles, directly questions are asked. These economic principles are related to which international economic organization? WTO. Also sometimes they're asking, match the following. Correctly matched, incorrectly matched. MFN, NT, reciprocity. By following these principles, preferential trade agreement. What is this preferential trade agreement, sir? One more current affairs. Switzerland cancelled MFN status to India. India cancelled MFN status to Pakistan. Switzerland cancelled MFN status to India. Because some of the Switzerland food processing companies were not treated properly, so they were cancelled actually. Switzerland cancelled MFN status to India, which means if goods are coming from India to Switzerland, they can collect more duties on Indian goods. Now, what is preferential trade agreement? You can give some preferential treatment for the goods of your friendly nations, which is called as preferential trade agreement. What is the meaning of preferential trade agreement, sir? Reducing tariffs. If goods are coming from our friendly countries and we are giving them less charges, or we are collecting less charges for them, we are reducing duties for them, we are reducing tariffs for them, preferential treatment. If goods are coming from our friendly nations to us, probably we are reducing service charges, we are reducing port charges, we are reducing penalties, we are reducing even duties. So preferential treatment is called as preferential trade agreement. Now look at India-Japan preferential trade agreement. Meaning if goods are coming from Japan to India, we will collect less duties. If goods are going from India to Japan, Japan also will collect less duties. If duties are less than the goods, what happens to prices of the goods? Decreases. And what happens to international trade? Increases. That is called as preferential trade agreement. See, important point. In preferential trade agreement, duties are not made as zero. Duties are only reduced. In preferential trade agreement, custom duty, countervailing duty, anti-dumping duty, tariffs, all these are not made as zero. They are only reduced. But what is free trade agreement, sir? Name itself says free trade agreement. What does it mean? If your goods come to our country, if our goods come to your country, no duties. Freely you can goods come to ours. Freely our goods can come to you. Because just now I said, goods which are mentioned in positive list in the trade agreement, free flow of goods, services is called as free trade agreement. India, South Asia, SAFTA, South Asian Free Trade Agreement. Meaning, if goods and services are coming from SAARC countries to India, India to SAARC countries, you reduce duties on our goods, we will reduce duties on your goods. Free flow of goods and services. That's why that is called as free trade agreement. What is the difference between PTA and FTA? PTA duties are only reduced. But in FTA, duties are made as zero. For which goods? Goods which are mentioned in positive list. Okay? CECA, Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Agreement. Now, integration levels are getting increased. Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Agreement, integration levels are increased. Now, what's meaning of this? Integration levels are increased. In FTA, we have confined to only goods and services. But if this gets extended for goods, services, capital, technology, then that is called as Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Agreement. Meaning, in FTA, goods only are focused, but in CECA, goods, services, free flow of capital, free flow of technology is also added. That is called as Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Agreement. FDI, FPI, investment all. CEPA, Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. It is even more extended. So CECA plus cooperation in intellectual property rights also, patent, copyright, trademark, geographical indication. Then that is called as CEPA, Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. Cooperation is limited, partnership is extended of cooperation. Which means CECA, if covers as many things as possible, that is called as Partnership Agreement, Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Agreement. From cooperation, it is becoming partnership. Then Customs Union. Customs Union means group of countries, among them there are no duties. For the rest of the world, they are deciding common duties. That's why that is called as Customs Union. See, African Union is example for this. What is this African Union? Among the African countries, duties are zero. And African countries are trading with the rest of the world. For each of them, when African Union is trading with the rest of the world, among the African countries, duties are zero. But for the rest of the world, together as a group, they are fixing the duties, which are called as Customs Union. Now finally, Economic Union, where Customs Union, common currency, common parliament, common central bank, common policy. Example, European Union. So what is there? Common central bank is there, common parliament is there, common currency is there. So in the rest of the world they are trading. Then that's called as Economic Union. European Central Bank is there. Euro is the common currency of European Union. Together as a group they are deciding agreements with the others. For prelims, clarity is important. What is PTA? What is FTA? What is CECA? What is CEPA? What is Customs Union? What is Economic Union? And MFN, NT, reciprocity. And you're reading the current affairs. In the last 1 year, India signed free trade agreement with so many countries. So you should know who are part of them, what goods are there in positive list. Sometimes match the following also they can ask, or they can simply put world map with which of the following countries India signed free trade agreements. Probably. European Union, 4 countries are there. You have to know. After that, recently, just last 2 weeks, 3 weeks before only, our PM is going to whichever country he is signing free trade agreement and coming back. So in the last 1 year, with which all countries India signed free trade agreement also, you should know. Because in the exam they might ask, with which countries India signed free trade agreement and not signed free trade agreement, probably. So this is one of prelims area, positive list, negative list, FTA and difference of all of them.